Hey guys, it's Rob here and welcome back to another video. So in this video we are going to talk about the Nintendo Direct stuff that has been recently happening. We will talk about the stuff that has recently been happening and also the stuff in the past to catch everyone up to date, because there are some pretty interesting things and important facts about the stuff that happened before the new stuff from SwitchForce about the 7th game, or at least something to do with 7. There are multiple games that could cover that, so we're going to talk a bit about that. If you guys end up enjoying this video, make sure you guys leave a like. It helps the video reach more viewers when you do that, and of course subscribe for more Nintendo news, leaks, and rumors. I'm also going to be doing more reviews going forward as well, so if you're interested in that, subscribe for that too. There's also going to be some pretty big changes on the channel coming soon as well. I'm getting new animations, backgrounds, stuff like that. Here's a small preview of the walk cycle I recently made for the new character model of my character, and of course I'm still working on other character models for like the little Switch character and stuff. But yeah, fun stuff coming. With that being said, let's talk about the Nintendo Direct stuff. So the Nintendo Direct is going to be coming this week, potentially anyways. It's a potential Nintendo Switch leak. This could end up being fake. That could always happen. So take everything we're going to be talking about in this video with a grain of salt, because you could end up being disappointed. So when it comes to the Nintendo Direct that is supposed to be this week, this initially happened with SwitchForce, another YouTuber who came out and said that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct. And of course that got a lot of people really excited, because there are things that we really do want to know, and we just generally want to see more Nintendo Switch 2 games, specifically games that haven't had a date, like Metroid Prime. That's one of the things that I really do want to see, and a lot of you guys down in the comment section have said that, yeah, we want to know when this game is releasing, right? So when SwitchForce came out and said that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct, especially since we're still nearing January, the end of the year, and Metroid Prime is supposed to be coming out in 2025, well, we should be getting that release date, right? A lot of people did get excited. And then 7 days ago, this thing on Gaming Leaks and Rumors popped up as well. He says he's doubling down. So this is what it says. SwitchForce doubles down on the Friday, September 12th Direct, and states that he will give further details on game appearances closer to the Direct's date. And that has to do obviously with the new update that happened a couple of days ago. Of course, I didn't actually cover it because I've been working on the character models and that takes a lot of my time, but better late than never, right? He has also spoken out on people's guesses on the games too, and we'll cover that part too if anyone guessed it right. With that being said, this is his direct quote according to Gaming Leaks and Rumors on Reddit. And I've already started to see some things about what games are going to be there, what games aren't going to be there. I'll give you a lowdown as we approach the Direct. He also says that Strange Friday date is probably because Mario's anniversary is on the 13th. Now we will talk about that later in the video, because that's another discussion that is being conversed. I don't know why I said it like that, but you guys know what I mean. A lot of people are wondering, well, if we're going to be getting the full big Nintendo Direct, because that's exactly what he's talking about. It's the big Nintendo Direct we have all been waiting for. Not a mini Nintendo Direct, not some kind of third-party Nintendo Direct, not an indie Nintendo Direct. It's going to be the big Nintendo Direct. Don't play a drinking game with this video, by the way, because I'm saying Direct a lot in this video. But yeah, it's supposed to be the big Direct, and that makes people wonder, well, are we even going to get a Mario Anniversary Direct, or is it going to be in the same month? Let me know your thoughts on that question down in the comment section below. But one thing I've noticed about that I didn't even cover on the initial part when I covered this part of the timeline, I guess, of this Nintendo Direct rumor, is that it says this. What games aren't going to be there? This... The first game that popped in my mind when I just read that is, oh my god, are we not going to see that Metroid Prime release date? Because I do wonder if Nintendo's just going to do their own Nintendo Direct for Metroid Prime and do the release date there. Because remember, we have been having a pretty interesting pattern when it comes to Nintendo Directs. We've been getting like 1 or 2 Nintendo Directs, whether that be like an indie Nintendo Direct or a third party, or like a big Nintendo Direct, well, not big Nintendo Direct, but like a general Nintendo Direct, and then also maybe a third party Nintendo Direct. And then we get a Nintendo Direct for like some upcoming game, whether that be Donkey Kong Bonanza or Mario Kart World or, you know, Kirby Air Riders. I have to look at all of the timelines of each Nintendo Direct and showcase of that game and see if there is a pattern, but I'm pretty sure there is a pattern. So I'm wondering if we're going to be getting that Metroid Prime Direct, and him saying what games aren't going to be there is going to be included with Metroid Prime 4 and its release date. I hope not, but we'll see. But yeah, after that, we also had more people coming out about the Nintendo Direct. So VGC and The Hate both are coming out with their own information and their own things. This is from the VGC article. article. They say sources have told VGC that a Nintendo Direct presentation is in fact planned for mid-September. It was also worth noting that aside from 2024, a Nintendo Direct has been held virtually every September since the Nintendo Direct presentations began. And that's another side of this. A lot of people were expecting. You don't really need anyone with inside knowledge to tell you that, hey, the Nintendo Direct is happening, because there's usually a pattern you can follow, and that's why I was talking about the pattern of the 2 Nintendo Directs in the showcase for the Nintendo game. I think Nintendo definitely has switched up their plan for the Nintendo Switch 2 in Nintendo Directs, especially since the launch of the Switch 2, just slightly. But yeah, around that time, Nate the Hate came out and said this as well. Yes, there is a Nintendo Direct in September. When? The second week of the month, in the latter half, on or around September 11th or 12th. Now keep in mind that this was after SwitchForce came out and said his information, so initially SwitchForce was the first one to talk about it, and then VGC and Nate the Hate came out and said some stuff about it too. And one thing about Nate the Hate is that whenever he comes out and says yes, there's going to be a Nintendo Direct, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a Nintendo Direct. It's very interesting for him to also state the exact day as well, which is pretty interesting because I don't really recall him, to memory anyways, giving like an exact date. It's usually like an expected time instead. But yeah, something very interesting about Mario's 40th anniversary is that on the post, someone did ask him a question about that, and it said Mario's 40th anniversary. I'm guessing they meant 40th anniversary, the first week of the month, question mark. I have heard nothing, and of course we have passed that first week and he heard nothing and nothing happened. Now, also talking about the Red Dead Redemption port that he talked about a while ago for the Nintendo Switch 2, when he was asked if that's going to be at the Nintendo Direct, he just says maybe. Depends if Nintendo was able to court Rockstar. Red Dead Redemption 2 is Switch 2 bound regardless of the announcement/reveal venue. So that is still going to happen whether it's revealed at this Nintendo Direct or not. In regards to the Switcher, I don't know why I call this Switcher. Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition, he says he hasn't heard anything for that edition for the Nintendo Switch 2. And now we're moving to what was on September 5th, so 3 days ago. So yeah, I was actually pretty right on my guess on how long it's been since we got this information. So 3 days ago, SwitchForce says, I'm hearing that next week's Nintendo Direct hit a little jackpot for games. 777s actually, 777. Now, there are a lot of people who have been guessing what games these could be. I'm just wondering if this isn't even necessarily has to do with like sevens. Does it have to do with some kind of game that involves some kind of jackpot or some kind of gambling system? Not like loot boxes or anything, but you guys know what I mean. Like mini games and stuff. Or is it just like 7 games that are the 7th in their respective franchises? Now, Kirby Pink Fury has offered some of his guesses over on Twitter. He says the 3 7 games for the next Nintendo Direct speculation so far: Final Fantasy VII Remake, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Ace Attorney 7, Resident Evil 7, Dragon Quest 7 Remake, 007 First Light, Layton in the New World of Steam, 7th game in the main series, and Ace Combat 7. Now, out of all of those games, the interesting thing here is, according to Stealth40k over on Twitter, he says that SwitchForce says that no one has guessed it yet, so it's not even any of those. I don't really know what it could be. I've seen some people guess maybe it's like Animal Crossing, but that just really depends on what Nintendo considers an Animal Crossing game, so to speak. Like, is it just the mainline games? Do they add some of the games within it, like, you know, Pocket Camp, and of course there's like the Happy Homeowner Design for the 3DS, and of course the board game one that nobody likes, or at least I didn't like it. I remember when that released and I was so disappointed. I'm like, it's not a mainline, come on. But yeah, that's the whole timeline from start to finish, including the updates, the new stuff that's happening, what we might be expecting. Let me know what you guys think could be like the 7th game. Is it going to be like the 7th game in some kind of franchise, or does it have to do with, you know, 777? Does it have to do with some kind of mechanic that has to do with like jackpot? There's a lot of things that could be read into, but one thing that you guys do got to make sure is that, I'm not going to say subscribe, but if you are going to subscribe, but I was going to say, make sure you guys are really careful with this, because this just could be nothing. It could be fake. We could not get a Nintendo Direct. Entirely possible. It does help that Nate the Hate has come out and said that yes, there's going to be one on the 11th or 12th, but again, take it with a grain of salt. With that being said, of course, leave your stuff down in the comment section below, and make sure you guys subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.